In these problems, all we're doing is solving for x, so you're going to undo whatever's happening to the x. It might be helpful to change some of these to decimals. This one, and this one will all be easy decimals to work with, but this one with the third is not. So I'm going to show you how to take care of that one. Since it's multiplied by 5/3, we can divide by 5/3, but dividing by 5/3 is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply by 3/5 on both sides. That gives us x on the left, and then we can multiply out 3 times 4.75 times 3, and that's negative 14.25. There's an invisible 1 here, so that would give us a 5 there. If you divide that answer by 5, you could also write it as a regular decimal of negative 2.85. Remember, to change from a decimal or a fraction to a decimal, we divide the top by the bottom. So this is like 6 divided by 5, and that will convert that to a decimal. This one would be 4 divided by 5. This would be 3 divided by 4, and then we'd add the 1 in front of it. For the next couple of problems, we're going to match each algebraic approach card to the appropriate word problem. It also says we're going to use the arithmetic approach, but in my class, instead of using the arithmetic approach and gluing it in, we use that column to solve for the variable. And then confirm that the solutions match and tape them in. So basically, we are just using that right-hand side to solve it algebraically and then taping or gluing them in. So in your workbook, you have a setup of the table as well as this page 227 that you can cut out the algebraic approach pieces. Don't worry about the arithmetic pieces. We're just concerned with these 3 pieces here. This first one says a class goes to the ballet. Each student who attends pays $1.25 for a ticket. If the total amount paid is $22.50 and 5 students from the class do not go, how many students are in the class? Let X represent the number of students in the class. So we knew that the total was $22.50. And we know that it's $1.25 per ticket. So if everybody went, we would do $1.25 times X, because that's the number of students. But not everybody went. 5 students did not go. So in order to get the number of students who actually went, we subtract the 5 who did not go from the students who did go and multiply all that by $1.25, which is this last card here. So cut this one out and glue it into that first box. So to solve it, we are going to distribute. So we'll do $1.25 times X and $1.25 times 5. That gives us 1.25X. And then that negative 5 times $1.25 is a negative 6.25. So in order to solve this, we're going to move the numbers to the same side. That would give us $28.75 and $1.25 times X. Then we're going to divide both sides by 1.25 to get X. 28.75 divided by 1.25 is 23. So when it says how many students are in the class, there are 23 students in the class. But if 5 did not attend, that means only 18 attended. This one says Ethan pays $22.50 for a taxi ride. He is charged an initial fee of $5 plus $1.25 for every mile traveled. How many miles does Ethan travel in the taxi? Let X represent the number of miles traveled. So it's $1.25 per mile for a total of $22.50, which is that top card on page 227. So to solve this, remember we're using this as the solve box. We're going to start by subtracting the number 5 from both sides, because this one has the variable this time. I still have $1.25 times X on the left. $22.50 minus $5 is $17.50. And then we divide both sides by 1.25 to find out what X equals, which is 14. So the question was, how many miles does he travel in the taxi? He travels 14 miles. And the third one. Logan plays soccer for the same amount of time each day. She also plays piano for an hour 0.25 each day. After 5 days, she has played piano and soccer for a total of 22.50 or 22.5 hours. How long does she play soccer each day? Let X represent the number of hours Logan plays soccer each day. So the soccer plus the piano each day. So far we have each day. She plays X hours of soccer and 1.25 hours of piano. But she does that 5 days. So that whole thing gets multiplied by 5. She repeats that process 5 times for a total of 22.5. So to start, we are going to distribute. 5 times X is 5X. 5 times 1.25 is 6.25, and that equals 22.50. Subtract the 6.25 from both sides, and then that would give us $16.25. Oh, no, we're talking about hours this time. 16.25 hours over the 5 days. Then we divide that up amongst 5 days. And that means that she practices her soccer for 3.25 hours. Each day. The next part of the lesson asks you to create your own word problem involving a rate and solve the problem by using an algebraic approach. Solve it again using an arithmetic approach and make sure each solution takes multiple steps. Copy your word problem and solution onto one student's rate problem word problem page, which can be found on page 229. So you are coming up with your own word problem, then you are solving it using algebra with a variable and solving it with arithmetic, meaning just like those old addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division steps like you would in 5th grade. Since everybody is going to have a different problem here, I'm not going to write one out. It's your responsibility to come up with one of your own. Then in the next set of problems, the goal is to write one about a merry-go-round and swap it with a partner for them to solve it. The problem here is we're doing this digitally, so you are solo. If you want to try and come up with one and share it with a friend or a parent, you may. Otherwise, my students are going to move on to studying for their upcoming quiz. Make sure that your warm-ups are complete and the workbook is filled in with the things provided here and any additional things that you did independently.